What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this video. Once again, Steven Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel. All right, guys, so yesterday I made a video about Kyle Duggar, and I was talking about some of these values, especially as we face this reality of what we do about the Malcolm Jenkins situation. Yeah, you need some plan Bs, even maybe some plan Cs and Ds in place for what to do if you can't sign Harris from the Vikings, you can't find a suitable replacement if Jenkins walks, you better have an idea of what to do. There's a guy that I got to give Philly Mike his credit because Philly Mike was the first person to mention this individual to me. Was like, hey, Steve, you should check this guy out. So, look, I watched two games. I watched Jeremy Chinn play against North Dakota State, and I watched him play against Youngsville. And look, there are some positives to this young man's game. There are some developmental issues to this young man's game. It was very evident on film that at the very minimum, I can say with confidence, he was the best player on that Southern Illinois football team when I run the film. Quite obvious. So that's always kind of a good positive starting point to where his teammates aren't flashing above him. With that said, look, will he fit that need? I do like the talent of this kid. I like the athleticism of this kid. But look, let's roll the film. Let's talk about what the film is saying about this young man. Let's talk about the draft value, the prospects of him playing in Philadelphia. And where would you play him? Do you see him as a single high safety? Do you see him as a will? Do you see him as a strong side safety? Where is the fit? Where is the feel for this young man? All right, Joe. Let's jump into today's content.
Going to give it to Johnson on the outside, and Johnson walloped it.
Jeremy Chinn, he's another one of these, weird kind of free safety, strong safety, nickel, will linebacker, kind of Sam linebacker, weird fits that you can find in this draft. I mean, just to call, a spade and lay our cards on the table, he's one of a handful of these really athletic guys that can play all over the place. Isaiah Simmons is probably the best of the best in this type of role. Then after Isaiah Simmons, you get a guy like Kyle Duggar that I covered yesterday, right? After Kyle Duggar, then you can kind of start talking about your Jeremy Chins, these a little bit later developmental pieces. You can even include Akeem Gaither, Davis or Akeem Davis Gaither in this, list of in between guys because Davis also has the ability to basically line up and play the slot. He can come down as a safety, he can come down as a linebacker, he can play either. Although I think most people see him more as a linebacker. Look, this kid is an exceptional athlete, and it's going to show you on film. You're going to see that today. But I will tell you, he's a developmental piece. This is a guy who desperately needs very good coaching because there are some slight little things about his game where he needs more development. I think that he can really flash at times as a run defender, and at other times, he kind of leaves you wanting a lot more as a run defender.
Company replay. Well, remember when we talked about Williams running the ball? I said there's size.
However, this kid still leaves you at the end of the day feeling like, man, there's something there if you develop it. This kid is a physical and athletic monster. Look at his physical measurements, guys. 6'3", 221 pounds. He's got a 32 1/8 inch arm length. He's got a 9 5/8 inch hand and a 77 5/8 inches wingspan. It's ridiculous, guys. And that doesn't even really lead you into the full perspective of who this kid is. Yes, he's got the length. He's got that wingspan to play in these zone concepts, to be, a problem for quarterbacks trying to fit balls into tight windows because he's got such a long length that he can completely disrupt your throwing window. But it's also just the physical athleticism of this kid. It's just things you don't find guys this big, this lengthy, and this athletic in every draft. They're rare. They don't. It's crazy that there's so many in this particular draft.
Here they come. Lance running out of time, and down he goes again.
Okay, when this kid walked into the combine, I think he officially woke every single scout up in the NFL because I don't think anyone could have predicted this kid was going to put up this type of athletic numbers. I think people thought he would test well, not this well. He ran a 4.45 40-yard dash at 6'3", 220 pounds. Ridiculous. He had a 41-inch vertical. He jumped 138 inches in the broad jump. And he put up 20 reps on the bench.
Knock it out! Knock it out! 20.
The kid's good. The kid is he's athletic. And the crazy thing is, it's not like it's just raw athleticism that doesn't pop and show up on film. It absolutely can be found on his film. Like I said, when you turn on film, this kid stands out compared to the rest of the players on his football team. It's not hard to recognize who he is on that field.
Didn't happen. They got behind the chains.
And there's some room to run up the middle to the 20.
Now, look, I don't want to get people overly excited about this prospect because do understand, this is still a developmental prospect. There are still some issues you can tell with playing at a small school like Southern Illinois where maybe he wasn't being exposed to the greatest coaching in the world. And you do kind of see sometimes where he does struggle with certain things, especially when it comes to like really playing down in the flats, defending the run, defending kind of little quick pass outs. I mean, he's really good playing the ball in front of him when it's more of a deep zone type thing. I do think that there is room for growth. There's room for development in his game when it comes to reading and reacting really quick timing passes and making sure that he takes the correct angle to cut these plays off. Also, learning when you get a guy that you should be able to blow through, when that guy steps in front of you, man, you got to learn how to shed that block. Yeah, you got to learn that. You got to learn that technique, guys. It's really important to learn how to shed and rip through those blocks. And he doesn't always illustrate that on his film.
Thrown out to Phoenix Sproles in stride, working off a wide.
With that said, this is a developmental player with tons and tons of upside, guys. He is going to, in the right system with the right coaching, he is going to develop into a special kind of talent. The kid can really shock you with how well he can play the ball in the air. And I got to be honest, he got ejected from the Youngstown game. But before he got ejected, you could just see his impact on that football game. The way that he was basically just completely causing Youngstown to try to throw away from his side of the football field. And the few times that they did throw to his side of the field, he made a couple of really spectacular plays on the football.
Couldn't get it in, settled for a field goal. Here comes the rush. The pass is picked up.
Jeremy Chinn does a great job of reading and anticipating the quarterback. He's really reading those eyes very well. Now, look, I have seen plays against, teams like North Dakota State where he was manipulated a little bit better by eye movements. A good enough quarterback can get him to over-anticipate something. That I'm not saying, but that will come with age and maturity and experience in the league. He'll get better at that. But what we can say is when this kid has the ball in front of him, he has the skill set to read the route tree, to read the quarterback's progressions, and really anticipate well where the football is going. Now, not only does he have the ability to do that, but then he has the dynamic ability that when the ball is in his hands, then he becomes another type of threat for a football team because he's pretty special with the ball in his hands. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen any, proof of this, but I would love to see this kid kind of get worked in as a punt returner because his instincts with the ball in his hands are pretty good. Doesn't mean that he can actually field the ball in the air. We'd have to see that, but just like we saw from yesterday's video, you can take these safety types who are used to playing center field, playing that ball in the air, and make them a punt returner. Kid's got really good instincts with the ball in his hand, man. He's phenomenal with it.
Line. A lob and headed up the far sideline.
His dynamic abilities don't end there, guys. He's also a fairly effective pass rusher. When they're bringing him on more of these, delayed kind of timing blitzes, his athleticism really kicks into overdrive because he's got that 4.45 speed as a 6'3", 220-pounder. He can really create havoc for offensive linemen as they set into their blocking schemes, lose sight of him, and allow him to really shoot through gaps and holes. This is a kid I can see in delayed blitz schemes. He could be a nightmare for opposing teams because, man, this kid's athleticism can really pop in this area. And this is an area I wish at Southern Illinois we would have received more of an opportunity to see him play in that role, because I do think that he does have some of that dynamic ability like that you see in a guy like Akeem, Davis Gaither. It's that's an ability I would have loved to have seen. I just feel like Jeremy Chinn sometimes is like kind of a combination of a Akeem Davis Gaither and Kyle Duggar. He's like a nice in between type football player there. So where he kind of has some of the dynamic abilities of both football players. And no exception here, guys, when it comes to rushing the passer.
That's how you bring in pressure.
All right, guys, I want to thank everybody for watching today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on Jeremy Chinn. This is a guy that, look, I've become very fond of since Philly Mike kind of gave me a little bit of a, go watch this guy's film, go pay attention to this kid. I like him a lot. I definitely think he's going to be one of those developmental guys that we're all going to know eventually. As a matter of fact, should I dare say that he is indeed the most underrated defensive player in this draft. Or better yet, he is the best developmental player in this draft. With that said, your questions of the day, guys. Number one, what are your thoughts about Jeremy Chinn? What I mean by that is, do you like his film? Do you think he's too much of a developmental piece for your particular liking in this draft? Give me your general thoughts about the prospect, Jeremy Chinn. Number two, do you think he's better suited to play free safety, strong safety, or the weak side linebacker positioning? I don't think I would move Jeremy Chinn into a nickel corner kind of position. I don't think that's his fit. I think he's fast enough. I think he's long enough, and I think he can bother receivers. But he's still got a lot of development left in man-to-man coverage situations. That could be something down the road for him, but he's got a lot more development there in the man system. Number three, what round value would you give Jeremy Chinn? Prior to this, I thought he was a fifth-round value. After basically the scouting combine, these teams get a hold of his film and they see his pro day. I wouldn't be shocked if this kid doesn't go maybe slightly earlier than they're thinking, and you might have to take this kid in the fourth round if you want him. I wouldn't be shocked. I just think some teams are going to fall in love with this kid's film. They're going to fall in love with the measurables on this kid. So I do think you have to be kind of in the fourth round maybe now. But look, we got, 3 picks in the fourth round? I mean, we could definitely make something work if we really wanted it. With that said, guys, that's your questions of the day. This is the end of the video. Please, 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 if you're new to the channel, please, y'all, hit that subscribe button. It does a lot for YouTubers. It keeps us motivated to keep pushing out this type of content. Number two, all my OGs, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, guys. You already know what it is. That's what communicates with YouTube and lets YouTube know that, look, there's interaction between the subscribers and the content creator, and it's an actual legitimate community. And in return, YouTube takes, this and pushes that across the platform so we can bring other people in. All right, y'all, you know how we close out these videos. We do a little something where we go E-A-P-L-E-S. Hey, listen up. I've been requested quite a bit now from Philly Fresh to go over the film of Jason Peters in Seattle. That's going to be coming up. I'm going to try to get to it tomorrow, but if I cannot get to that tomorrow, it will be by the end of this week because we're going to be switching gears pretty soon, and we will be talking about offense. So, what a great way to start off the offense by talking about, do you sign him back? Do you let him walk? Stay or go? Jason Peters. It's coming up, guys. Stay tuned for that. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out of here, y'all.